All right, 7:30 Thursday morning, only one place to start, and that is the annihilation of Manchester City by Real Madrid last night in a 90-second spell that broke their soul and broke their spirits. What happened? Give us your view. Hashtag OTB AM. Owen, what happened?
It's hard to know. Is it we're calling this a Pep special? I think that's probably a little bit too far.
That's the headline. Owen says Pep special.
There we go. Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne concluding the game on the bench. Is that a symptomatic of a Pep special? I wonder. Riyad Mahrez being withdrawn, is that a Pep move?
Up to Joe. Pep Guardiola has now suffered 6 eliminations at the semi-final stage of the UEFA Champions League. 09-10, 11-12 with Barcelona, the 13-14 season, 14-15 and 15-16 with Bayern Munich. The joint most of any manager, along with, do you know this?
I don't.
Who else has lost 6 Champions League semi-finals?
Jose Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho. Well done. Did someone give you that?
No. But like, who else has been in lots of Champions League positions and been
so
disappointed?
Do you therefore say it was an amazing career, you've reached this and you've also won it the other times, and you've, I think that's final. I don't think he lost the final, did he? Anyway, is it like, what an amazing career, you have changed football? Or is it, you've also been gifted the best footballer of all time, and then the control of Bayern Munich, and now all the money in the world, literally all the money in the world to build a team that is flaky as F?
Like this, that's a good question. Excuse me. So in a year's time,
are they flaky?
Well, you'd have to say yes. They conceded 2 goals that in very quick succession that can only be compared with the remontada, the Bayern Munich or the Barcelona PSG in 2017. That's the only thing that really kind of comes close to this. Like when it happened, it kind of felt like Spurs Ajax. We can't forget that Spurs only scored 1 late goal on that occasion. Like Liverpool's comeback against Barcelona was a slow run thing over the course of the second leg. This all happened in very quick succession. And I know Barcelona got 3 after the 88 minutes. Wasn't it that night against PSG?
It's the Champions League final 99, except that
Champions League final 99, exactly. Yeah, that it's.
But I wouldn't have said that that was
that Bayern Munich weren't flaky.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That Bayern Munich team has a bunch of players who win World Cups, who eventually win a Champions League. Like, Yeah.
So, like, I mean, are you using the Premier League titles for Manchester City as a reason to suggest that they're not flaky?
Now, I guess what I'm saying is that the Real Madrid team are special.
Yeah.
And in the Champions League, over the last decade, they've been one of the greatest collection of players of all time. Now, it's a different team. It's not that different. I mean, sure, Ronaldo's gone, Sergio Ramos is gone, a few others are not there, but several of that team have won Champions Leagues. So for them to keep going and to score is not truly shocking. It's a little bit fluky that the deflection goes on to Rodrigo's head. Like, that's a bit of a fluke.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a fluke that Courtois' giant leg is fully extended and the ball just brushes off the bottom of his boot and hits the post, goes wide of the post from the Grealish chance. The other Grealish chance, like, what? It's a bit of a fluke that they got beaten.
I'm firmly of the belief, though, that you have a greater chance of fluky things happening to you if you are flaky. Like that.
Spoken like a true Arsenal fan.
That is well, exactly, and like, I think maybe if I'm not sure, can we make a Mayo comparison here? We're all
Mayo's
thinking
2 own goals.
Like
no, that's unfair.
No, not the own goals. Like, I mean the sort of late stage getting beaten when the game is in the melting pot, sort of
against an all-time great team, though.
But like,
or did they don't aren't that great? It's just that they come up against a flaky Mayo side.
Kerry Tyrone last year, there was fluky things that happened there, and the flakier team got beaten.
Kerry are flaky?
Yeah, they were flakier than Tyrone. I apologise for using that reference, but it's like one of the first things that kind of comes to mind. I do believe that there is a correlation between the fluky and the flaky, and the flaky ends up falling victim to the fluky. And yes, of course, there are multiple different alternate universes this morning where there was no problem for Manchester City, where those late chances just come and skim by the post, and that happens. But it doesn't. You can't make a case that they're not flaky after losing in the manner in which they did.
Is it Pep's fault that, like, those chances get missed in the first leg? That the defence isn't better in the first leg when it could have been wrapped up?
Sorry, no, I don't know if it's Pep's fault or not, but that was definitely for me the reason why Manchester City aren't in the Champions League final. Like I said last week here, that the first game could have been an 8-2 situation for Manchester City, and not that it should have been, but it definitely should have been more than 4-3.
Well, it probably should have been. It was there to have your signature breakout performance where you become a truly great European team. Like, I don't know, is there something that, like, they made a Faustian pact with the devil when they took all the oil money, and that ultimately you can't get what you want? That, like, there's
so we're going to award the good guys Real Madrid with everything.
It's difficult. It's a difficult narrative to see the whole way through. But, where the plucky underdogs, as somebody said last night on Twitter, it's like our Real Madrid. Something weird has happened in the world. A lot of weird stuff has happened in football in the last decade. The money that Manchester City have pumped in has been incapable of winning the Champions League. The money that PSG have pumped in has been incapable of winning them the Champions League. There is some still modicum of justice in the world of football.
You're talking here as if this story is done. You're talking here as if, like, the money is dried up and this is the last chance. Like, Erling Haaland will probably win the Champions League for Manchester City next season.
Will he?
Like, there's every chance he does. Well, the thing is,
what happens if he comes in and he's afflicted with the disease of flakiness?
But the thing is, Manchester City, even if they'd won last night, you could still make a case that they are flaky given their past history in the Champions League. That they still wouldn't have got over the line.
Until they win it, yeah.
Until they win it, exactly. So,
bear in mind, Manchester United were flaky in the Champions League all the way up until the 89th minute against Bayern Munich in that final, because they hadn't won it. And that's what scoreboard journalism is. It's like, oh, this team is no good until they do the thing and ultimately that's the whole point of it. We keep score because we want a winner at the end. I don't think Man United were flaky up until that point, though. I think that a weird series of things had happened to them in previous years and they had not been able to fulfil their destiny. And then they were flaky again for a couple of years after that until they won it again. Like, is it not just that Real Madrid are a team full of absolute winners who've just won the league, who are celebrating that, who do have some of the best young players in world football, and whatever else they have in their armoury at the moment, they're doing very well with. They were definitely still going strong in extra time last night, and we shouldn't be that surprised. Like, here's the thing: no shots in 90 minutes is a big deal, right? But, like, no shots on target. But, like, they're going to have shots on target over the course of the game. Their shots on target all just happen to be in a short spell. That short spell happened to be at the end of the game. If they'd scored 2 goals in 90 seconds early in the game and City had wrestled it back to get to extra time and then beaten extra time, would we be like, oh, flaky City? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. And I think that there would have been a far better chance had, those goals come earlier in the game. They were just completely shell-shocked, and if it was before half-time, it would have made a world of difference if they'd gone back into the dressing room. The fact that it was extra time today to go into, I think we knew that it was going to go one way unless it had gone to a penalty shootout. But even then, I think Real Madrid would have won the penalty shootout.
Michael O'Connell says, lads, you've been hyping the quality of the Champions League all year. It's been crap. This is a poor Madrid team. All the Spanish, German and Italian teams are weak. The Premier League has 2 good teams. That is a contrarian take the morning after the Champions League semi-finals have once again been the best sports events on the planet, as they are every year for the last number of years. No matter who's playing, weird shit happens in the Champions League semi-finals. Do you remember there was like a 3 or 4 year period where the All-Ireland hurling semi-finals were, like, unbelievable?
Yeah.
Every single game was
18 and 19 in particular.
And it's kind of come off that peak. The Champions League keeps getting better and better and better in the semi-final stage. Better and better and better. I think
more dramatic.
And I think the final this year has the potential to be pretty dramatic. Like, you have 2 very, very good teams who are going to be going for it.
I'm very happy that this is the Champions League final matchup. I think that this is the beauty of the Champions League. You want to see teams from different countries going up against each other, and I think the great irony here is that my belief is that Real Madrid in a one-off game against Liverpool have a good chance, but actually they've probably proven over the last little while that Real Madrid over 2 legs probably have a better chance, because they, like I say, frustrate a team for a longer period of time, and then they figure their way into the game. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting Champions League final. There's no question that Manchester City on paper are a better team than Real Madrid. But I think we've seen over the last few rounds that Real Madrid just have a level competitively that a couple of other teams in and around them on paper don't have. And like I think we're sometimes underplaying how good some of the players are in this Real Madrid team. Some of the younger players, like what's the Rodrigo ceiling going to be over the next little while? Like he's only 21 years of age. I think Camavinga obviously would have gone down as a wunderkind for the last few years. Real Madrid got him, made a huge impact when he came on last night. He's probably not going to start the final because you have to start Kroos and Casemiro. But like this is the quality that they have coming off their bench.
Yeah. Mark Dunning says, incredible finish to that game last night. If Real win the final, is there an argument to be made that Kroos, Modric and Casemiro midfield is better than Xavi, Busquets and Iniesta? We'll ask that to Graham Hunter a little bit later on. I suspect he's going to say no. But at the same time, the level of achievement is off the charts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is. And also,
those guys know how to win the biggest games in world football again and again and again and again, and they've done it. So this isn't Villa, who have scored 2 late goals to knock Guardiola out of the Champions League semi-final. It's a world-class team who are absolutely desperate in front of their home fans, knowing that they must throw absolutely everything forward, and weird stuff happens. So, like, it's very tempting to say this Man City team have a very flaky core, and there's definitely some bit of dark art that they should have been able to do, that they should have learned from the games against Atletico. They had the coaching from those games against Atletico to just kill those final few minutes, and when it went to 6 minutes, instead of just going, oh, I can't believe it's 6 minutes, what's going to happen here, they should have just cheated, and everybody would be like, oh, like Phil Foden rolling back onto the pitch. He forgot to be Phil Foden rolling back onto the pitch in the last 6 minutes. So maybe that's flaky. Maybe that's the bit where it just went too much for them.
Because it did seem that night against Atletico that they kind of learned from past mistakes, but it definitely felt that 6 minutes. There was a lot more football played in that 6 minutes of injury time last night than there was in the entirety of the last 15 in extra time.
For football's sake, neutral should hope Florentino Perez does not win the Champions League. The irony of this guy holding it aloft is a sickening thought, says Paul McGee. It's just, I mean, well, like, you know, the irony of any of the owners holding the trophy aloft is kind of sickening, because all of them have, you know, their own bits. Real and Ancelotti are the footballing equivalent of prime Kilkenny under Cody, says John Stapleton. Nigel Gallagher says it was the substitution that changed things. Walker having to come off, Cancelo having to move over to the right to cover Vinicius Jr., and Zinchenko found it hard to deal with Rodrigo on the left. Did Cancelo not do well defensively, but not very well with the ball? I thought that, like, I don't know if you remember, was it 2 games ago or was it 3 games ago when Gary Neville was basically having an orgasm about how good Cancelo was on the ball? It was like, oh, are these guys really good, or were we rubbish? And Carragher goes, oh, I was a centre back. That was when Cancelo was like kind of like original Ronaldo with the ball, kind of. Didn't do any of that last night.
No, yeah, that's true. Like, he was kind of a little bit absent from City's attacking plan when he's so important to them, and I think it possibly is in the conversation for their player of the season. So yeah, I guess maybe that kind of indicates maybe the game plan and kind of like the stacked nature of the defence they were up against for a large period of the game. I'm not sure. Like, I think a couple of them had an off night. Like Pep at the end just looked like he wanted to cry.
You watched the press conference. What was he like?
I was just very, very down, very downbeat. Like, I mean, giving the usual sort of platitudes about needing to pick them up for the weekend, and look, it happens. 2 late goals. He just hadn't processed it. Like, we spoke about stages of grief a couple of weeks ago when it came to Manchester United. Like, he is going through those stages at the moment, because this is like a massive, massive hit for him.
So, is this a sliding doors moment in the history of Manchester City Football Club? Do they, as a result of this, double down and decide that they're going to collectively do this together? Is there just a bit where they're looking at Pep going, I mean, we literally hired everybody in the backroom team that you needed. We have bought everybody you wanted. We have spent $500 million on fullbacks and other players. What's going to happen here? Are you going to do this thing? You're supposed to do this thing. You had one job. You have not done their one job. Is there a little bit of a... And is he like, this place is cursed. This place is cursed. What is wrong with you people? What did you do? What did you do? Is our ground built on ancient sacred land? What happened? What did you do?
Well, It's funny you should say that, isn't it? Didn't Yaya Toure say that there is some historic hex placed on, or Yaya Toure's agent or brother or something? Well, no, it wasn't Colo. Somebody attached to Yaya Toure said that there was an ancient hex placed on Manchester City.
All joking aside, I don't think there's a hex. I just think that they haven't got the right stuff. So, but is there any possibility that this leads to a fracture in the relationship?
I'm not sure. I think it's just like Pep is now, the boulder's at the bottom of the hill, and like Pep's looking at that again. It's just, he's probably looking at that, being like, the effort of this.
Yeah, and he's got Klopp.
This.
And Klopp is so happy, and Klopp is in the final. Klopp is always
signed a new contract.
Exactly.
He's going nowhere.
Now, so the Haaland deal is done. We were given to understand. So that maybe gives Pep a little bit of excitement. The other sliding doors moment in this is the whole, and it's important tonight, West Ham obviously need to come from behind against Frankfurt to go through to the final, and if they win tonight and they win the final, they'd be in Champions League next year, and you would expect Declan Rice will stay that 1 year and run his contract down and be able to negotiate his way out next year for a fair value. Or do they just pay the 150 million for Declan Rice? So they get, this season, Haaland's relatively cheap on the face of it for what you pay, the value of what you're going to have for the rest of his career. That deal could end up being 120 million after you include all the agents' fees and whatever. Do you spend all the money and get the two of them in this year and decide, right, one last opportunity for Pep to get the boulder up the hill? And Declan Rice in midfield last night was what was missing alongside Erling Haaland.
Well, they're definitely going to try something, and Pep, I think Pep's always got what he wanted really at that club, and that's one of the attractions why he went there. So if he wants Declan Rice, I think he'll get him, and I don't think Manchester City will have any qualms about it. They've made no secret about the fact that they want this one last trophy, and I suggest, that they would do everything this year if Pep is saying that that's what they need. Like, it has been commented upon quite a bit that they're, not that their squad is thin, but they do rely on a core group of players in a way that maybe other teams, such as Liverpool, actually don't really rely on. That Liverpool can maybe rotate a bit more broadly than Manchester City can. Maybe Pep sees that as a bit of a weakness and something that he can improve on next season. But like, you are nitpicking when it comes to Manchester City here. It's this psychological bit as opposed to the playing bit, it seems, that is the thing that's letting them down the most, because like they are a better team than Real Madrid, it seems. They're just not a better team of winners than Real Madrid, which maybe is the whole point of a team. So I'm not sure how much of a net gain they'll actually get from those additions, which is a great irony considering Haaland's one of the best players in the world. Well, he played better than Jesus last night, who didn't really do that much, did he? No. Well, Jesus has been excellent over the last few weeks, and like, you would have expected him to carry that form into the next little while. Like, the big thing for Manchester City is that Casemiro really just had such a big influence on the game in terms of being, the shithouse on the pitch, and they allowed that to happen to them. I wonder, is he like looking over at Fernandinho and being like, you instead of Rodri would have done a better job? Just not a better job, but like a more effective job when you're holding that lead. Granted, his legs nowhere near the legs that Rodri has, but I don't think anybody else in that Manchester City squad has that killer mentality the way Fernandinho does. Yeah. Like, this is very much. This is such hindsight stuff from us, by the way.
Well, they've a lot of grounds for complaint about the refereeing and the lack of bookings in the first half that would have eventually led to a card or count things down, and the shithousery would have stopped. Like, they have some righteous anger.
Yeah, no, they do, and I think that they would have been pretty annoyed with the Casemiro situation and not actually the referee not going to his book enough. But that's the hometown crowd. This is a tale as old as time. This is not a new thing. Like, people don't even get heard about this stuff anymore because it just happens all the time. Michael Collins says Laporte was a lucky boy. He should have seen red for the slap on Modric. Bobby Dwyer says, I thought Kane had to go to City to win trophies. They could end up with 0 this season. They're going to win the league. They're going to win the league, Bobby. Don't worry. Connor Pratt says 2 goals after Walker came off. Dave Cos, is Kenny Cunningham still in the studio watching the game? He said to leave him there last night. He's actually asleep under the bench here. We don't want to wake him because he needs to get some coffee into him before he's allowed on the show. You'd have to feel sorry for Grealish, says Daisha Dude. I have seen this doing the rounds, all right. I do feel sorry for Jack Grealish as a Villa fan, I think, but this just hastens his inevitable return to Villa at a cut price, 25 million deal. And take him back. And like the rudeness of Mendy to stop his arrival at Manchester City, like, what a goal that would have been had that crossed the line. And everybody's talking about Jack Grealish as the man who seals City's path to the final. Yeah, there is obviously an upside down emoji alongside the Grealish thing, because I think everybody got the implied no one cares about Grealish.
or rice. And then there's another issue which has been raised in our YouTube comments, which we will come back to a little bit later on. But it's time for us to deal with something far more important. At 7:50 a.m. it is Thursday, the 5th of May, and we take all of your correspondence very seriously. So somebody emailed. I actually don't know what the email address is. Is it info@offtheball.com? To Off the Ball Sport. Hi Owen, I have listened to you regularly on News Talk. You are very good and professional, but never take on board anything that comes before the word but. You are very good and professional, but there is one thing that really bugs me. Have you a problem giving the British, or English in particular, credit? This morning you used United States in a segment. Why do you use UK constantly, yet use United States? A lot of your reports are based on English posts, for example, Premier League, racing, boxing, tennis, etc. Yet you rarely say the person in question is English or is taking place in England. You nearly always say in the UK. Why can't you say the words England, English, Britain, Great Britain? Especially when you use United States repeatedly. You have a huge responsibility in the position you are. Do you not realise that younger people listening to you are influenced by your clearly biased reporting? Looking forward to your reply. Yours sincerely. That was sent on Friday the 22nd of April. And then on the 2nd of May to Off the Ball Sport. I sent you an email almost 2 weeks ago in regard to what I see as your very anti-English style of reporting. I appreciate you are busy. I am busy. I took the time to write an email about something I felt strongly about. I'm not naive enough to think you will change your ways because of my email. However, I would expect the decency and basic manners of a reply. I am now going to email the head of sport in News Talk and also make a complaint to News Talk about your disgusting actions. And the third one there was...
Okay, so I've prepared an official statement in response to this. It's Sheehan. It's spelled Sheahan, not Sheehan. Thank you.